Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Blue Heron Hill and my onion patch. This is my onion video, my harvesting today. Pardon me, I'm going to be putting on my glasses a little later because it is a bright sunny day. I tried to get out here very early this morning. Things just got caught up and I couldn't do it. So we're still early-ish morning, but it is bright. I am going to be harvesting onions today. I'm going to try and tell you all about onions from start to finish. Some of these things are the optimal conditions. I don't have the optimal conditions, nor did I employ the optimal conditions. Life gets in the way. You can't get all the weeding done. Doesn't always rain. You aren't always on the exact schedule. So let's get started and I will start talking onions. We're talking onions. Let's start at the beginning. When to plant them. In my zone 6A in upstate New York, my last frost date is the beginning of May. So I can plant onions as early as about 3 to 4 weeks before that date. So I did plant them in April, about mid-April. There are a couple different ways to plant onions. You can plant onion from seed if you wish. Right out here in the garden, it's very difficult. You can start onions from seed inside, grow them up. You probably have to start them in January or something. Grow them up into a slip and then plant them out in the garden, or you can buy little sets, which are just miniature little onions. Those are onions in their second year. I've not had very good luck with those. They always seem, a good majority of them will bolt or go to flower, and so they aren't really very good for using at that point. I have started them from seed in my grow room. Moderate luck with that, but I usually order slips from an onion company, and with the different types that I have, I order these from Dixondale, and always have had very good results. I'm always happy with the product that I receive. So what you want with an onion, everybody wants the big onions. Well, in order to get those big onions, you need a few things. You definitely need water and you need fertilizer because they're heavy feeders, and you need a lot of sunshine and a nice long growing period. So you get them growing before your last frost date, and you supply them with all this, the water and the nutrients and everything, and you're almost guaranteed a good crop. So each as you can see here, these are called leaves on an onion. Each one will produce a ring for the onion. So the more leaves you have, the bigger the onion will be, in theory. So I usually fertilize my onions. At the beginning, you want to promote a very good root structure. So you need the phosphorus and in the fertilizer. So I usually give them like a 10-20-10 fertilizer for the first month or so to get their roots really going good. And then towards the end of the season, I will give them more a heavier nitrogen feeder to promote the leaf growth. I have my onions set up on a drip irrigation system. I plant them in a double row, probably about 6 inches apart, and each one is about 4 inches apart from each other in that row, kind of alternating. And then during the season, I can pick like every other row to give them more room as they start to bulb out. Weeding is really important for onions. They don't like the competition. I don't use a pre-emergent on my onion patch. I try and stay as natural and organic as I possibly can. I did hear of corn gluten as as a weed barrier type of product. Have not tried that. Maybe I will look into that and see if that works. Oftentimes I do mulch my my onions. This year I put in a layer of shavings from the chickens. Got lots of chickens, so I have lots of shavings. And that worked a little bit. They've broken down. I probably should have put them more. I have had to weed a number of times. So now comes harvest season, when the tops start turning brown and the neck breaks over right at the head of the bulb. That signals the time to harvest. Out of my 4, I have different harvest dates here. My red onions flopped over very early. The Walla Wallas came next, then came the yellow, and as you can see, I still have this whole double row of white onions that's still standing. In another bed, you'll see I have some more of the yellow Pattersons that are still upright and haven't fallen over yet. So look for those. So I am harvesting today. I'm going to harvest all my Pattersons. There were a few that were upright. You can break them down if the majority of yours have already fallen over, and that will signal for them that their time is done, and then will start their own curing process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull them out of the soil. I'm going to lay them flat. I'm going to give them a day or two in the sunshine and let them cure kind of naturally right here in the onion patch. After that, I'm going to take them down and put them in a cool, ventilated area. It's outside, it's under my deck. It's where I put my garlic. And I can link that garlic video up there and you can see what it looks like. And that, to me, is a good place to cure my onions. It's what I do every year. You don't cut the tops off, you don't cut the roots off, you don't wash the soil off or anything. Just like the garlic, you just lay them out flat and let them cure, and the papery skins form the outside. The leaves dry up and turn brown, and then you can get them ready for permanent long-term storage. So I have 4 different kinds. What is the difference between all of these? The yellow Pattersons, the white Sterlings, the Red River ones, and the Walla Wallas. Well, everybody, I think, has heard that the Walla Wallas are a sweet onion. And they definitely are. You can eat them raw. It's best, in salads and things like that. They're great. Now, they don't store long, so this is a variety that you need to eat up right away. Now, the white onions, those that are right here and they're still standing, I like to put those in salsas. They seem to hold up. They have a nice crunch. They're good texture. And but they don't store as long as some of the other ones. Now, the Red River, the red onion or the purple onion, whatever you wish to call it, I've had pretty good luck with storing those and having them last for a long time. They're a good onion for eating raw. Oftentimes I will, at the end of the storage cycle, when some of them are getting soft, I will just take all of them, chop them up, flash freeze them, and put them in baggies in the freezer, and then just use them as I wish, on salads and things like that. Even though they've been frozen, they still have a little bit of a crunch if they're diced up nice and small. I don't use them in some cooking applications, say for instance eggs, and they just impart that color to the eggs, and then the eggs turn a nasty looking, unappetizing color. I am being competition with the birds. Now comes Pattersons. As I said before, I usually grew copras, but Dixondale has substituted Patterson because they don't supply those anymore. I am assuming they're going to be as long lasting as the other variety. somewhere into February. And then after that, I'll just chop and freeze. They're an all-purpose onion, great for cooking. They're the ones that everybody buys in the markets and the grocery stores and such. Now, with all of that said, there was not a tear shed, was there? Good, I'm on track. So let's get to pulling up some of these onions. Here's my main onion patch. I have 4 onions this year, 4 different varieties that I planted. These here are Patterson. I got my onions from Dixondale, and this is what they had because I usually plant cupras and they don't supply those anymore. But this is a yellow all-purpose onion, great for storage. Mine lasted sometime almost to February. So I thought that was a pretty significant amount of time. Down this row here, which you can't see, a Red River, which are a red onion. Those are already in storage, and I'll show you those later in the video. The next here are, it's a white onion, and these are called Sterling. As you can see, just a few of the tips are starting to turn brown. This is the first time I've grown these. The necks haven't broken over, and that's a signal of when to harvest your onions. One row on this side, these are Walla Wallas. These are a sweet onion, and you can see the necks have broken and fallen over, and so those are ready to harvest, and we're going to get at those today. Look at those beauties. Walla Walla. Well, there we go. This bed, all of the Pattersons with 2 double rows here. The Walla Wallas, not very many because I've been picking those mostly as the green onions. The white onions are still standing, and who knows when they'll start toppling over. I have one more bed. Well, it looks like there's just half a bed. Those are still standing, so I'm going to let those go, and I will just pull up these that have fallen down. Okay, just a small little harvest here with more right over here. Whenever their necks topple over, then I will get to those, plus the white onions. Those right there are leeks. They're staying in the ground for quite a bit longer. I am going to let my onions dry in the sun for the remainder of today and possibly tomorrow if there's no rain in the forecast. I'm going to have to look. If there is rain in the forecast, then I'll probably pick these all up and take them down and set up my storage area where my red onions are. I'll take you to that one next. This is where I store my onions. You can see I have my red harvest here. They're rather on the small side, but I don't use a lot of them. There were a few of the yellow onions that I had pulled up because they were had already flopped over. As you can see, they're drying rather nicely. There's papery, the skin is papering over. The leaves, the green tops are drying. And as I press this here, I can still feel a little give. So that means it's not totally dried out yet. And I'll check. Same with the red ones have been out here a little bit longer. There's still a little bit of give up here at the neck where the neck reaches the bulb. So they've only been down here about a week. So for safety's sake, they will stay here at least another week, and they can stay here even longer than that. The other onions, the Pattersons and the Walla Wallas and the white Sterlings will be coming in within a day or two. Just depends upon the rain. Here we have a rack of garlic that my interns helped me harvest. I'll link that up in the corner and you can watch that. So that's my onion harvest. I hope I didn't make you cry. At least I didn't cut any up. I may do a video on on canning some of these onions and show you what I do. But for now, I hope I imparted enough wisdom on planting, caring for, raising, growing, and harvesting onions for you. Any questions, please comment down in the comment section below. Give me a thumbs up if you thought this was interesting and if you gained some knowledge on it. A lot of this information is already too late for growing season, unless of course you're way further in the south. I know that they start planting onions in November and stuff, and so lucky you to have a harvest of onions in the springtime. So until the next time that we can go digging in the dirt, happy gardening. Bye.